Apple recently dropped tvOS 26, and that comes with some really nice quality of life new features, but also, I feel like most people in general are just not getting the most out of their Apple TV. So in this video, we're going to go over some tips, tricks, and of course, the new features that Apple just recently released in tvOS 26. I'll keep this one quick because I know you've heard it a few times by now, but liquid glass has made its way onto the Apple TV in a few subtle and classy ways, like the playback controls, all the buttons, the control center, and even the top shelf bar here on the home screen. The Apple TV app is also redesigned with beautiful new poster art that incorporates liquid glass and allows more shows and movies to be displayed. And I really enjoy the look and feel of this whole new design for the Apple TV. I think it makes the movies and TV shows pop out a bit more, a little more eye-catching, makes me want to watch or at least try out some of these new shows just simply by the way the poster art is displayed. So that's liquid glass in tvOS. I said I'd keep it short. It is subtle in most places except the control center, which is really sleek and probably the most transparent part of the whole OS, really. And I really do enjoy the look and feel of it. tvOS 26 also introduces a new way to access different user profiles, and this is simply done by whenever you wake up your Apple TV. Now, by default, you'll see any active user first, and then suggested users that might be part of your iCloud family, and you can add them to your active users. So for me, we have my profile as the main active user, and then 4 suggested accounts for my wife and kids. What makes this feature great, in my opinion, is that now I can finally start to separate myself and all of the content that I watch from the kids' programming or the content that I don't really care about because other people were using my profile when watching TV. This also helps users with suggestions for the type of content being watched and is more accurate towards each user and what they might enjoy. So the TLDR, if you want your up next to stop displaying all of the kids stuff, except for Bluey, because that show is awesome, mixed in with all of the adult-oriented programming that you don't want your kids to watch, tell your families to start signing into their own profiles. Additionally, tvOS 26 introduces a new API for developers that links app logins to an Apple account. So it makes it effortless for users to sign in to their own favorite apps, shows, and movies when setting up a new Apple TV. Now, I haven't seen this implemented in the apps that I use yet, but I really hope developers take advantage of this soon because this will make the whole profile system so much more useful when all of the apps are tailored to your specific profile. Now, if you don't want to have to use or select a profile every time you wake up your Apple TV, you can just go into settings, user and accounts, and then you can either make it to a default user or you can have it select a profile each time. Now, before we continue on with the rest of this video, I do want to take a quick minute to tell you about today's sponsor, Setapp. Setapp is the ultimate place to get apps for your Mac and iPhone, and with one subscription, you unlock access to over 250 hand-picked apps. These aren't filler apps either. They're powerful tools that you'll actually use every day. I do. For example, Paste is my go-to clipboard manager that keeps everything I've copied neatly organized and easily searchable. CleanShot X makes screenshots and screen recordings effortless with advanced editing and annotation tools. And when I'm writing scripts, I rely on Ulysses, also included with Setapp. And these are real apps that I genuinely use every single day when I'm getting work done. Want real-time insights into your Mac's performance? You also have iStat menus, which gives you all the data at a perfect glance. Better Touch tool for seamless photo editing. If you got a MacBook, Notch Nook will make your MacBook's notch so much more useful. And the list just keeps going on and on. And it's not just Mac. Many of these apps have iOS versions too. With Setapp, you can easily download them to your iPhone by scanning a QR code directly from the desktop app, so your workflow stays seamless across devices. New apps from innovative developers are always being added, so there's really something for everyone, and I highly recommend trying Setapp for yourself. So click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen for an extended 30-day free trial. Thanks, Setapp, for sponsoring today's video. Apple Music Sing gets the ability to turn your iPhone into a microphone, and now users can have their voices amplified and can belt out their favorite songs. So if you're having a big party or maybe just a family night of karaoke, everyone can jump in using their own iPhone. You can queue up songs or even react with on-screen emojis. There's real-time lyrics, visual effects, and lyric translations with correct pronunciations available So, in case you don't speak the language of the song, well, you can try to sing along with it because you have all of that in front of you and it makes it easier than ever to sing with your entire family. So, simply open up the Sing app, scan the QR code to connect your iPhone, and start singing. If you've been using AirPlay or third-party speakers, you know how annoying it can be that if you want the TV audio to be on those third-party speakers, you have to go in and select it every single time from the settings menu. But now in tvOS 26, it finally fixes all of that. You can set third-party speakers like a Sonos or Bose setup that you might have as your default audio output. So to do this, go into Settings, Video and Audio, and then Default Audio Output. And now, instead of what I think it used to be just limited to HomePods, you can now pick your preferred speaker, and your Apple TV will automatically use that every single time. You can even select any of your other compatible devices like your Mac. If that's the default audio source that you want for some reason, you can now set that as your default audio output. tvOS 26 gives FaceTime on the big screen a bit of an overhaul. There's now a much cleaner interface with bigger contact posters being displayed here in the corner, which sort of makes things a bit more personal by displaying a contact's customized photo and the name when starting a FaceTime call on the Apple TV. What else is new here, and what's probably one of the more exciting updates, is live translation also makes its way over to FaceTime on your Apple TV, which means if you're chatting with someone who speaks another language, you'll see live translated subtitles on screen. But also, you have the ability to just turn captions on in general. So even if they speak the same language as you, but you're having a hard time maybe hearing the person on the other end, just turn on real-time captions and that will help you out. If you want to try this out for yourself, just simply start a FaceTime call and then open up the options panel here and turn on captions or live translation, whichever one you might want. And as you can see here, I'm seeing captions from my wife and kids, and that helps in case it's kind of hard to hear what they might be saying. Lastly, tvOS 26 gives users the ability to customize Apple's screensavers, which users really like. And now you can kind of choose which categories you might want to show or hide. So nature, cityscapes, underwater scenes, or space. Or you can even set specific screensavers per profiles, as we talked about earlier, making the whole custom profiles thing a bit more appealing. To do this, just go to Settings, Screensaver, and then pick the type that you want to customize. It's a great way to make your Apple TV, again, feel even more personal. Now, speaking of making things more personal, I feel like there are so many other tips and tricks that most people really don't know, and you can use this to really get the most out of your Apple TV. And so, for example, if you lose your remote, you can always pull out your iPhone, swipe down the control center here, and select the TV remote, and now your iPhone becomes the remote. And you probably already knew this, and that really helps you out in a pinch, but you still want to find your remote. And if you tap on the Apple TV name here at the top, you'll see a list of all the Apple TVs in your house, and next to it, you might see a Find button. And here, you can tap that, and your phone will now help you find and locate your remote. And this is really helpful for when the couch monster inevitably swallows your remote and you have no idea where it might be. If you're a late night, can't go to bed without the white noise of the TV in the background kind of person like I might be, well, you might want to keep things as dim as possible for the others in the room. Like my wife absolutely hates that I need the TV on. I have the volume pretty low, but it's just how bright the room is. That's the problem. And you can instantly reduce brightness and white point for softer lighting by just using this shortcut. Simply triple-click the back button on your remote, assuming that you have the accessibility shortcut on, and choose Reduce White Point. Or if that's the only option that you have on, it'll just do it automatically. And to set this up, just go in to Settings, Accessibility, and scroll all the way down to the Accessibility shortcut. Then toggle on Reduce White Point and nothing else. And when you triple-click the back button on your remote, your screen will instantly reduce the brightness, or if you do it again, it'll bring the brightness back to the normal setting. You can also add other options here, but you'll have to select whatever option you might want from the menu when you triple-click that button. So in my TV upstairs in my bedroom, I have Reduce White Point on, and that's it. But for the other TVs in the house, when we're watching TV at night and we don't want it too loud so it doesn't wake up the kids, we like to turn on Captions. So I have the Captions option set there too, and I can kind of select which one I might need. Speaking of sleep, I had no idea you could set a sleep timer on your Apple TV until very recently, and I'm kind of ashamed to admit that, but I really just don't want to have to get out my other TV remote, which is what I've been doing, and use it for that one simple function. And so now just simply long press on the menu button, get into Control Center, and here you'll see the sleep timer option. You can set it all the way up to like 2 hours. and your TV will fully shut off along with your Apple TV. Everything turns off for me, which is awesome, and it's so much easier than having to get out my other TV remote. The linear keyboard here on the Apple TV, in my opinion, is a nightmare most of the time. If I want to scroll from one end to the other just to type out Severance, that's not a great experience. Of course, you can use Siri, but you might just want to type it out, and you can do this much faster by changing the keyboard layout to grid. You can do this by going into Settings, General, Keyboard Layout, and toggle it to grid as the default option. If your TV colors look a little bit off, or maybe you don't even know that it's off, use your iPhone to calibrate and color balance your Apple TV's output. So go to Settings, Video and Audio, Color Balance, and here you'll have to hold your phone really close up to the screen, so it's like screen-to-screen contact almost, and you'll automatically adjust your TV's output for accurate tones. It'll go through this whole process, and once it's done, you'll have this new color-calibrated TV. Now, if you have a TV with Dolby Vision, it'll say your TV is already accurate. You won't need to calibrate it, but for the sake of this video, I turned that off, and then I calibrated it using my TV and my iPhone, and noticed that the colors were a bit cooler as it was with the new color calibrated profile. Now things are a little bit more, vibrant and a bit warmer as compared to the cooler tones and the more washed out look that I had before. I definitely prefer the new calibration here. So I highly recommend giving this a shot, and you can make your TV as color accurate as possible. The Apple TV app here on the top shelf by default will show you previews of content. Traditionally, it's Apple TV promoting whatever content that is new, like this Lost Bus movie. But if you don't care about that, you don't want random suggestions like this, you can go into the Settings app, go to Apps, TV, and then under Home Screen, switch it to the Up Next queue. That way, your Apple TV shows you what's next on your list instead of random recommendations. And finally, do not sleep on Picture-in-Picture. I have completely forgotten about this function that was introduced however many years ago. Maybe you haven't, and that's great, and I'm ashamed to admit this again, but I definitely am the type of person who watches like sports in the background. Maybe I'm not super invested in that game, but I want to be able to have it on and just kind of look at it from time to time, but I'm second screening a YouTube video or something. Well, there's no need to do that anymore. Just get the game going, enter Picture-in-Picture by clicking that icon here in the lower right, and then go to any other app or menus or check the weather or whatever you want to do. I browse YouTube like I normally want to do here, and I have a tiny box of the game that I can move around the screen, and I can watch a YouTube video, and it's great. And I can't believe that I don't do this more often. So if you learned something new, let me know, drop a like, hit that subscribe button. And of course, let me know your favorite Apple TV tip, or if you found a new tip that I haven't even mentioned, let me know all of that in the comments down below. This is Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you around in the next video.